Sorry about that, I had a mail lady come by. Anyway, I chop this up in little pieces for smaller puppies, depending on how small they are. You know, when they start hitting 12 weeks, I just give them the whole chicken, the whole piece. But, you know, from 4 weeks, which is when I start weaning, from 4 weeks to, I'd say 12 weeks, I do this chopping and the pieces grow and grow as they get bigger and bigger. Again, I don't like to smack it because all my dogs start barking and you won't be able to hear me. So, the flesh you can leave in bigger pieces. There's a bone. Yeah, it's a little bit of work, but you know, well, I was going to say work isn't a 4-letter word, but it is a 4-letter word, so forget I said that. It's good to work. Some 4-letter words are good. You can get your wife to do that, so much the better. But watch your fingers sometimes. I've almost chopped the end off of mine a few times. That's about all the smaller it needs to be. This is for very small puppies. I would have left most of that intact for, you know, 8, 9, 10-week-old pups. Okay, let me wash my hands for 1 second. Towel. Good thing to have a paper towel when you're handling raw food. Okay, so now another thing I do different is I don't give them quite as much rice. I don't like puppies to be full of rice, so I give them just a little bit. Okay, and I give an extra helping of yogurt, lots of calcium, and because puppies don't have quite as advanced digestion system. Excuse me 1 second. Quite as advanced a digestive system, these extra enzymes in the yogurt will assist them with their digestion. Okay, I also don't use as much of this. I give maybe this much for a puppy of the vegetable. I don't use a lot of vegetable. I don't use a whole lot of rice. And with the egg, I keep my dogs in above ground pens, as you've seen in the bitch video. And a lot of times if you just give them an egg, they'll chew on it and the egg will drop through and they won't get the nutrition. So what I do with the egg is, yeah, I give them the whole egg with the shell, but I mix it in smaller pieces so that they can digest the entire egg and get that eggshell for their calcium. Okay, I did cook this egg a little too much, so that was my bad, but I'm sure they'll live. Okay. Mix all that up. Get another paper towel. Oh, somebody wants to talk to me. I'll have to wait. So then, these vitamins, they really don't need this whole damn vitamin. If you think about it, this vitamin here is for a fully sized adult human being. I use this for a pit bull. It could be argued they could use a third, but it's easy. For puppy, he doesn't really need this whole thing. So what I do is I pull out a knife. I got one sitting right here. And I chop it in half. Okay, I'll give him the smaller piece. And then I will stick it right in the middle of this glop of yogurt. I'll hold it off at the side for a second. And then I take a little bit of warm water. Okay, get this thing warm. And just a little water so the egg yolk doesn't stick. And then I mix it up like this. It's a big, nice, pulpy, goopy puppy mulch. They've got their veggies, they've got their eggs, they've got their chicken, they've got a little rice, they've got their vitamin pillar, they will shortly. They've got animal fat too in there, and here. The lard is animal fat, and they've got a little vitamin. They eat that as their little dessert, and that's puppy gruel. This right here is for one, how old is he, 12-week-old puppy. I don't usually mix it that fine for him, but that's how I would mix it for a very, very, very small puppy and get them started. And that's at about 4 weeks. Puppies can eat this just fine. Looks big, and yep, they'll chew it and they'll chew it. They can eat really large objects. The bones are small, they chew them, that gets their jaw muscles going, they get used to using their mouth as a tool and as a weapon. And other than that, the exact same thing my adults do. And if anyone's taking a look at my dogs, I've got some nice looking pups, and they glow with vitality. And again, this is cheaper than kibble. It is a little more time intensive, I admit, but I do put the time into my dogs. And to me, and really to anyone, if they want to analyze, those who put the extra time into their dogs are the extra special dog men and dog women. Anybody can take a bag of kibble, go, oops, there goes a little piece, a little bag of kibble, and dump it in front of their dogs, and their dogs eat it off the ground, or if they're lucky they get a bowl. That's not really top caliber ownership. Person who goes through the trouble, and I know a lot of people who do go through the trouble to make the feed for their dogs, it doesn't take too much longer, maybe an hour of your time more. But what you get back from that in terms of their health, their fertility, the health of the pups, is so much more than just that hour's worth of time, whereas the opposite is true with kibble. You may save yourself an hour a day by having to not make this, but what you get over time are dogs that get worse and worse and worse. I mean, sure, everything dies over time, but I've made statistical records of the amount of pups I would get feeding raw versus kibble, the incidence of cancer as they get older, how long it takes. When I first started feeding cheap kibble, I had several bitches, and know of people of several bitches get breast cancer between the ages of 5 and 7 and be dead by 5 or 7, by 9 for sure. I've got 14-year-old bitches, no breast cancer, from whose mother had it, whose sister over in someone else's yard being fed kibble is dying of cancer. Mine's fine. Yes, cancer in the breast is the #1 cause of death of bitches. You can't avoid these things, but you can prolong them. Same with yourself. I mean, whether I eat McDonald's and Dollar General food, I'm going to die someday. But take a look at me as a 45-year-old man and my level of athleticism versus a 45-year-old man who eats McDonald's junk food and Dollar General Hostess Ho-Hos. There's no comparison. And it's the quality of life, not just that you're alive, but it's the quality of life. And this feeding regimen that I'm showing you will give your dogs a much, much better quality of life without sapping into your wallet. Most people think they got to spend more to do that, and that can be true. But this is as cheap as cheap dog food. You just have to give an hour a day more of your time, and that's it. And so if you can divide up your time or reschedule your lifestyle to such a way that you do this, you'll be healthier. Sharing that with your wife and family, the juices of that, and giving that to your dogs, and your dogs will be healthier. So with that said, I'm going to show you the extra special ingredients I give to the stud dogs now, and then we'll move on.